Hallo ihr Lieben, hier ist wieder Faszien-Hamburg, endlich mal wieder eine neue Podcast-Folge für dich. I have the nice guy Kai in my interview. It's my first podcast in English. So yeah, it was a challenge, but it was very nice. Kai is from Norway and please have fun with his topic. It's about movement, holistic movement in our body, how we can lose pain for a long period of time. So have fun with the examples from Kai. He's a nice guy. He go in the forest and talk about how you can do exercise. Yeah, exercise which are very good for you. Not too much heavy weight lifting. It's just the normal way of movement and yeah, a bit like our animals. So have fun with the podcast. Oh, hi Kai, nice to meet you in my podcast.
Hi.
Very nice that
we
came together today.
Absolutely, yes.
And it's so cool because I just saw like an advertise from you on Instagram, and yeah, it was a little text about you and what you changed in your life. I think it was like this, and then I clicked, and then I saw I can get your ebook, and then and this is the reason why we are together today. And yeah, I read your ebook, and so great. So I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because I mean, Ido Portal is the name for movement, and
absolutely.
And yeah, I didn't know it before that you are together with Ido Portal, but now I understand why you came to the movement philosophy, or I don't know how we can say it. Maybe philosophy. So would be very nice if you can tell us about your life in the last, maybe in the past, in the last 10 years, or when it started for you, and why was the reason you start with the movement, philosophy. Yeah,
of course. Sure, I will try to to speak a little about it, how I came about Ido Portal, and how his approach changed my view on movement, because it really did. And I started as a massage therapist back in 2003.
Okay.
And then I met Tom Myers in 2004, 5, I think it was.
Wow.
He has written the Anatomy Trains book.
Yes, of course.
It's very much about fascia and how we are connected through myofascial links in the body.
Yeah.
And then in 2006, I studied his structural integration program with him in the United States.
Oh, cool.
And I practiced structural integration ever since, and this is the hands-on work I'm doing now, and I really like it. I really enjoy working with people in this way.
Yeah, nice.
And back in 2012, I took his Anatomy Trains teacher workshop in Maine with him.
Okay.
And I became a certified Anatomy Trains teacher in 2017.
Oh,
and
wow.
I've been teaching.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, can I interrupt shortly? That means that you can teach us. So if I came to Norway, you can teach me or another person who interested in the Thomas Meyer philosophy.
Yes, I can be the teacher, but of course it will have to go through the office in the States, and I'm connected to the Anatomy Trains office in in England. So, but yes, it is possible, and there have been many workshops here in Norway and in Bergen since 2010, I think. So yeah, it's absolutely possible.
Nice.
And
Wow.
then I in 2013 I met I discovered Edo Portal on Facebook, and I was so interested in what this man was doing, and it was like, wow, it was totally mind-blowing to me to see the way he moved and the strength he had and the control and everything. It was just amazing.
Yes, it is.
So I was working a little bit at Oslo CrossFit at that time, and Edo Portal was coming to Oslo in September, October 2013.
Okay.
And I was invited to come to his workshop, and I was in heaven.
Yeah, you wrote about it, and that it was very hard for you. That you saw you cannot do. You wrote you couldn't do anything from this. Was it right from exercises?
Exactly. I always thought that I was strong. I've had heard it many times that, oh, you were strong, but when I attended his workshop, I just realized that you are not strong, Kai. It was a disaster. It was so frustrating because he was doing a lot of gymnastic wing work and hand balancing and stuff like this, and he was moving close to the floor, and he was so fluid, and all the teacher team he was bringing with him on the workshop, it was just totally mind-blowing. So I was then forced to, okay, you better take a lot of notes and then you have to try to develop a kind of system or practice to implement the things he showed me, and I wanted to learn this, and I started to study it, and I followed him, and I heard a lot of podcasts with him, and so definitely.
How is the name how is the name of the podcast from Edo? I
don't remember exactly the name of the podcast, but I can send you some links.
Yes, of course. And isn't it interesting that, I mean, lots of people think like you, they are strong if they go in the fitness center and take the weights and lots of weights, and they think they are the kings and they are strong. And then and if they do their first time the movement with their own body, they got the mind blowing like you. I mean, isn't it interesting that we think we are very good in our structure? And I mean,
absolutely, yes. And this is what I always are telling my clients too, that lifting weights and going to the gym will make your muscles stronger, but you will lose a lot of coordination when you do it, because if you want to get better at moving, you have to move, and this involves a lot of different motor patterns, a lot of motor control patterns, different than lifting weights. So it's a totally different approach you need to have, and this is what I've been exploring now since I met Edo there, and I've been just playing around with movement as much as I can, and I've developed my own style. I don't know if I can say that, but and I in 2017 I was really into this rewilding approach too.
Rewilding is like animals, or what do you mean with
Well, it's basically my ebook, which is called "Evoke Your Human Animal." I'm writing about the way we lived as hunters and gatherers, because I really do believe that we still are hunter and gatherers, but we are now living in a modern world, and we are not adapted to live in this world and this kind of life that we have now. So I'm approaching the idea of becoming a wilder version of myself, and because I really think it's important, and I think we can evoke our bodies in a more natural way by implementing movement as we would if we were out in the woods on the mountain and looking for food and hunting and all. Yeah, so that's basically what I try to do today.
And how we get it, and how you can you say for the listeners how you do it in your holy day? I mean, in how we can get it to be like a hunter, or I mean to get the huge amount of movement back. This is, I think.
Yeah. So basically, I try to move in a way that it's not based on around a lot of repetitions, a lot of like 50 push-ups, for example. I'm trying to think about where does the push-up come from. So if you are outside in the woods and you are walking, and then you see a stream of water and you feel thirsty, and then you have to maybe bend down and lay on your stomach and support on your arms in order to get down and drink the water. And when you push up, you do this one time, and then you are up on your feet again, and you can walk away. So I try to get out of this idea of doing lots of repetitions, because we are designed for movement and not this exercise philosophy, the exercises and many repetitions. So the variation in how I move, like sitting in a squat and go from there and crawl on the floor or outside and stuff like this, and running, sprinting, and pushing, pulling, lifting. So if I'm outside in the woods, if I find a rock, I can lift the rock up, and I can try to throw it away. So yeah, it's basically try to use the body in many different ways as possible. So.
But if we go back, I mean, that sounds very interesting. But if you got more, or what do you need to do that you got more power maybe in your arms? So if you just do one push and you drink on the floor, I mean, in the forest, it's not enough. So what is your daily exercise? I mean, to how you train now your arms, or how is
okay, so the way I do it now is taking stuff that I learned from Ido Portal and try to implementing it just by moving. So like if I go down on the floor and I try to make myself as small as possible and be strong there and move around like this, and then I try to make myself as big as possible and try to move around and be strong in every part of the movement. So it's, if I do like a repetition exercise for strength, I'm doing maybe 5 or 6 repetitions, not 50, not 100, because a lot of repetitions only tells me that I'm capable, that I have the ability to push through, and I find it very little useful for the way I like to move and how I like to spend my energy.
Yes.
so to speak. Yeah.
Okay. So but at the start, so I don't know, long times ago, you tried to make a plan for you. You said you had a concept from Ido.
Yeah.
And there was different parts you had to do every day, and how much you had to do, or can you say something about it, about your concept?
Yes, of course. I try to go through my joints every day. So full range of motion in my joints every day. And in order to do that, when you first start out, you have to do it slow.
Yes.
So maybe I just did like for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Something like a pull-up or something, or a squat. When I first started out doing squats, I couldn't get all the way down to the floor, but then I just kept doing it, and
Yeah.
every day, and
Okay.
I've been using a concept of get up in the morning at 5 and then spend 1 hour from 5 until 6 with movement.
Wow.
And try to work through all my joints and be strong and fluid. Because when I first started out after the workshop with Ido, I was so like, whoa, I was so excited, and I just wanted to do this quick and as fast as possible to become strong and to become more bendy, so to speak. So I just forced myself too fast, too quick, and did too much. So I ended up injured both of my shoulders.
Yes, you wrote about it. Yes.
Yeah. So which and this lasted for 2.5 years for the right one, I think it was. But yeah, so you have to start out slow and to build.
What was the biggest fault what you do, or what you did with, because you, I mean, can you say you got the shoulder problems because of this? I mean, of this exercise, or what was the biggest?
Yes, I was basically too weak, and I didn't understand the amount of loading that was placed upon my joint and my muscles and my tissues and my tendons, because these are different kind of tissues and they have different kind of response to loading. And if you load a muscle, the muscle will respond much quicker than if you load a tendon. So it takes a lot of much longer time to develop your tendons than it does to develop your muscles.
Yes.
So
I mean, this is the understanding. I mean, this is the holistic understanding about fascia and muscles. Nowadays we know a bit more about the fascia. I mean, and that's so interesting that you have the knowledge about Thomas Meyer and the thinking how Thomas Meyer does, and that's cool. So I mean, you can understand more if you do an exercise, because sorry, I need a
yeah, sure.
I have that's really interesting that we both are connected now, because I think we do similar work. And yeah, in the past I had a girl, she does movement lots of, but she had problems with her back, and for me it was what, how can she have problems if she do movement? And I thought if you do movements like Ido Portal, you are totally pain free and your body is fully flexible, and so you cannot have pain. But yeah, of course she was different. I mean, every people is individual, so I saw her problems. Then I made the Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if Ido Portal has pain sometimes, if he told about it, or how is it
Oh,
with
I'm sure. I'm sure he has. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, maybe it's but I think if you do this exercise so for a long period, and I mean Ido Portal do it for I don't know how long period of time.
Yeah. Of course, he's well adapted to this style of moving,
Yeah.
and if you break it down, if you really study him and you see what he does, it is very obvious that there is, unless you are a circus artist or anything like this, it's quite difficult to do what he does right away.
Yeah.
And this the way well, people like this crazy stuff, because it's so cool. It's amazing, but we need to understand that we have to build first.
Yeah.
So, and it is kind of a performance kind of moving, and it's quite far from what we are designed to do as humans. If we break it further down, we will not stand on one arm, for example. We will not do all this crazy flipping stuff that he does, and the people who study him deeper does. So, but the concept and the way of thinking, the approach to movement is great, because it opens up your mind and your perspectives, and it's really great. And I've had a lot of benefits from it.
Yeah.
But the people I work with on a daily basis,
Yes.
they are far from Ido Portal and far from his team, and so I try to give them some simple exercises to do, like getting down in a flat-footed squat and stuff like this. And I tell them about the when we are moving, the fascia is supposed to slide and glide on different layers.
Yes.
And by slide and glide between layers, there are communication involved.
Yes.
So that's why we need a lot of varieties in movement, because these mechanoreceptors that is within the fascia, they respond to stretch, to compression, to shear, and we need all these kinds of movements in our bodies.
Yes.
So just by lifting weights and doing this with your biceps will make your biceps stronger, but
shorter too. You make it shorter too.
Yeah, absolutely. Your
So the
repertoire
function
is
is not
too
good.
short.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And do you do also the foam rolling for your fascia? Do you use some tools for the fascia in your practice?
Sometimes I do, like a tennis ball or a golf ball, if I want to get a little deeper, like into my feet, for example. And I use a soft foam roller to work on my tissue and sore spots and stuff like this. And then I try to get this slide and glide movement between the foam roller and my tissue in order to free up and differentiate the tissue there.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the communication between our little cells is so important, and
Absolutely.
we get if we get this fascia free, and like I said, that it can slide. It's very important. But also important is what I think and understand more and more, that our fascia is also, the quality of our fascia is also like what we eat. I mean, what we eat, we have lots of trash, maybe.
Absolutely, yes.
Everything spent in the fascia or fix it. Yeah. So it's also very important that we clean it every day. with lots of good
Absolutely.
water. What do you think about it? I mean, about this?
Absolutely, I totally agree. The food we eat and the water we drink, basically, I try to use as clean food as possible.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from ultra processed food, and I drink coffee. I do, but but I try to drink more water, and of course, movement in relation to drinking water is also very important, because if you only drink water and you don't move, you will not hydrate your body in an optimal way.
Yeah.
So when you move your body in a lot of varieties, you are pushing water out to different parts of your body. So if you move the same way all the time, you will hydrate the same places all the time.
Yeah.
But that's why you need a variety of movement, so you can hydrate all of your body, the whole body.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what we see at the older people. If they don't drink lots of, they get very stiff, and also the function of our brain and everything is not so good.
Absolutely.
So yeah, clean food and water is very, very important. So let me ask, do you eat meat? No, I don't think you eat meat again. you wrote about game changer, so
yeah, well, actually, I do eat meat, but I only eat meat from hunted animals. So my brother, he's a hunter, and when he kill an animal, I eat meat from those animals.
Okay.
So this is maybe a strange thing, but I grew up on a farm. But I don't eat industrialized meat like this. So I try to have my meat also as clean as possible. And in terms of this rewilding hunter-gatherer thought that I have, I try to stay as close to the source as possible.
Okay. So hopefully the meat is had lots of movement the day and on the day.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because we know a friend of my mom is a hunter too, and he told him about the technique and that the animal has no chance if they have the big light in the night, and so unfair also, I think. I mean the technique, modern, killing, how can I say it? I know you know. I think you know what I mean. The techniques from the hunters are also not so fair. Yeah, we live in a modern way, so it's.
Yes, we do. Yes, so that is. It's hard to change, of course, and I don't mean that we need to move all the way back in the woods, all of us, but I really believe that if we going back to nature and living more within it and from it, has nothing to do with going back in time. It has everything to move forward and because
a nice sentence. Yes, very nice.
Yeah, because what happens now, it's just like, it's crazy, and it's this weird times we are living in now, and I don't know, it's frightening.
Yeah. What says Ido about the time of movement? What is his I don't know, his recommendation for people like us? Should we do 1 hour per day, or does he say something about, or did you talk about this topic?
Well, yeah.
Because I don't know what Ido do the whole day. It's like wow, it's like a wonder, but I cannot believe how. I mean, if we do so much movements, we have to work also we have to earn money.
Yeah, I heard an interview with him, and I think he said that at first he said 24 hours, but of course we have to live as well, and we need to sleep and all stuff like this. But I think he said between 6 and 8 hours a day. And if you think about it,
so I hope you enjoyed it too much till now. We got lots of information, and of course continue. Listen the next part, the second part of our interview, and you will get more information about what we have in our bodies, structures. We talk about the the fascial connection, and you got more information how we should treat a person well, if we say we treat a person holistic. So please continue, and I see you in the next part to my interview with Kai from EASYBODIES.